U.S. Secretary of State Marco Rubio said he wants to see NATO grow stronger, as he met with NATO Secretary General Mark Rutte in Antalya, Turkey on Thursday. According to Associated Press, the pair spoke to reporters ahead of a meeting of NATO counterparts later in the day to prepare a pivotal summit of alliance leaders next month that will set the course for future European security as America focuses on challenges elsewhere. The meeting in the Mediterranean coastal city of Antalya comes amid a flurry of negotiations aimed at producing a ceasefire agreement between Russia and Ukraine, including talks in Istanbul that Rubio and President Donald Trump's special envoy Steve Witkoff plan to attend Friday. Rubio came to Turkey after accompanying Trump on portions of his trip to Gulf Arab countries. It also comes as Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelenskyy is set to meet with Turkish President Recep Tayyip Erdogan in Ankara today. It's an open question whether Trump or Russian President Vladimir Putin will participate Thursday.
Good morning. Well, good morning. And Marco, thank you so much. You have been working so hard over the last couple of days in the Middle East. You are really making progress. I think this is important. This shows American leadership, not only on Ukraine, where it was the new American administration breaking the deadlock under the leadership of President Trump, but also now when it comes to the Middle East and of course all the other issues in the world, we collectively have to make sure stay stable, and we need American leadership, and you're providing that.
NATO has the opportunity to grow even stronger in the alliance. You know, the alliance is only as strong as its weakest link, and we intend and endeavor to have no weak links in this alliance. So it's setting up nicely, and it's good to see. You know, the President has just submitted a budget for $1 trillion of defense spending, which is unheard of, it's unparalleled. And it's not just spending money, it's spending money on the capabilities that are needed for the threats of the 21st century. All kinds of different threats that look different from the threats in the past. The purpose of NATO is to prevent wars through its strength. And that's why, you know, we want to see it grow stronger, spending levels among all partners that allow everyone to be stronger and makes the alliance stronger. And also he wants to end wars, and that's the hope with Russia and Ukraine. We'll see what happens over the next couple of days in that regard, but we want to see progress made in that regard.
Thank you. Thank you.
President Donald Trump in a speech in Saudi Arabia urged Iran to take a new and a better path as he pushes Tehran for a new nuclear deal, but he also warned massive maximum pressure if it doesn't come around. According to Associated Press, Trump said at the U.S.-Saudi investment conference he wants to avoid conflict with Tehran but warned that time is running out as Iran makes rapid progress with its nuclear program. As I have shown repeatedly, I am willing to end past conflicts and forge new partnerships for a better and more stable world, even if our differences may be profound, Trump said. But he added, if Iran's leadership rejects this olive branch, we will have no choice but to inflict massive maximum pressure, drive Iranian oil exports to zero. The comments came as Trump kicked off a 4-day visit to the Middle East on Tuesday with his visit to Saudi capital. The latest entreaty to Tehran comes days after Trump dispatched his special envoy Steve Witkoff to meet with Iranian officials for a fourth round of talks aimed at persuading Iran to abandon its nuclear program.
But in a few short months since taking office, we have achieved the swift return of American strength at home and abroad, now working with the vast majority of people in this region who seek stability and calm. Our task is to unify against the few agents of chaos and terror that are left and that are holding hostage the dreams of millions and millions of great people. The biggest and most destructive of these forces is the regime in Iran, which has caused unthinkable suffering in Syria, Lebanon, Gaza, Iraq, Yemen, and beyond. There could be no sharper contrast with the path you have pursued on the Arabian Peninsula than the disaster unfolding right across in the Gulf of Iran. Think of that. Yet I'm here today not merely to condemn the past chaos of Iran's leaders, but to offer them a new path and a much better path toward a far better and more hopeful future. As I've shown repeatedly, I am willing to end past conflicts and forge new partnerships for a better and more stable world, even if our differences may be very profound, which obviously they are in the case of Iran. I have never believed in having permanent enemies. I am different than a lot of people think. I don't like permanent enemies, but sometimes you need enemies to do the job, and you have to do it right. Enemies get you motivated. In fact, some of the closest friends of the United States of America are nations we fought wars against in generations past, and now they're our friends and our allies. I want to make a deal with Iran. If I can make a deal with Iran, I'll be very happy. If we're going to make your region and the world a safer place. But if Iran's leadership rejects this olive branch and continues to attack their neighbors, then we will have no choice but to inflict massive maximum pressure, drive Iranian oil exports to zero like I did before. If you know that, they were a virtually bankrupt country because of what I did. They had no money for terror. They had no money for Hamas or Hezbollah, and take all action required to stop the regime from ever having a nuclear weapon. Iran will never have a nuclear weapon. But with that said, Iran can have a much brighter future, but will never allow America and its allies to be threatened with terrorism or nuclear attack. The choice is theirs to make. We really want them to be a successful country. We want them to be a wonderful, safe, great country. But they cannot have a nuclear weapon. This is an offer that will not last forever. The time is right now for them to choose. Right now, we don't have a lot of time to wait. Things are happening at a very fast pace. They're happening right here. They're happening at a very fast pace. So they have to make their move right now, one way or the other. Make your move. As I said in my inaugural address, my greatest hope is to be a peacemaker and to be a unifier. I don't like war.
Russia is once again engulfed in massive forest fires. The Far East is in a catastrophic situation. While Russian dictator Vladimir Putin continues his destructive war against Ukraine, a catastrophe of a different scale is unfolding within the country itself. Natural disasters are engulfing new regions of Siberia and the Far East. Forest fires are spreading across Transbaikalia, Khabarovsk Krai, Irkutsk Oblast and Buryatia, threatening people, infrastructure and the environment. The situation is especially alarming in Khabarovsk Krai, where the area of fires has tripled in a day, to almost 10,000 hectares. In Zabaikalsky Krai, more than 500,000 hectares of forest have already burned, and the number of outbreaks continues to grow. The fire threatens entire villages, as well as one of the country's key transport arteries, the Trans-Siberian Railway. Local residents complain online about the inaction of the Kremlin and local authorities. In the Amur region, the flames came close to the highway between Blagoveshchensk and Svobodny. Drivers literally broke through walls of fire to get to their destination. The fire came close to the city of Tsiolkovsky, where the Vostochny Cosmodrome is located. But there is no serious fight against the outbreaks. Russian authorities blamed the swift spread of the fires on the wind and dry, hot weather. Wildfires are common in the vast forests of Siberia and Russia's Far East, especially during the dry summer months. A major coal processing plant in far northeastern Russia halted work after a fire injured 4 people, the plant's owner, Russian miner Mechel, said.